It's Monday, that means it's Mini Tip Monday. This week we're going to talk about the basics of getting a great standing position when we ride a motorcycle off-road. My name is Lil Pavey, this is Brake Magazine, and every single Monday we do a video called Mini Tip Monday, which is a little skill to do with motorcycle riding, something to improve your riding experience, to make your whole life that much more enjoyable. And this week we are talking about one of the absolute core basics of riding a motorcycle off-road, that's having great standing position. Getting your standing position dialed and absolutely perfect when you're on basic terrain is one of the core skills of motorcycling. If you don't have a great standing position, if you're not really well balanced on the bike, everything is way more difficult than it needs to be. One of the key points I already touched on there is being balanced. Now, great standing position is about learning to be balanced on the motorcycle and be completely independent of it. If you can't be balanced in yourself without relying on the bike to keep your balance, the whole world will fall apart very quickly. Great standing position starts with getting two parts of your riding really spot on. And before we go talking about actual standing position, it's worth noting that your standing position when you ride along a nice gravel track is just the start of the whole picture. When you get that position dialed and you're perfectly balanced, you can start to ride more difficult terrain. But as the terrain gets more difficult, you will be required to do more things. Your position will become much more dynamic. You'll have to bend and move and lean backwards and forwards and left and right to get the bike to do what you want it to do. But you can't do any of that properly if you don't get your basic riding position sorted before you get there. The first part of great standing position is in getting your hands and your feet in the correct position. If those two parts aren't in the correct position, everything in between your hands and your feet, so your legs, your arm, your torso, your hips, all of that is really hard to get in the right place. So the first part of that is it starts with our feet. Our feet position on the foot pegs is somewhere between the arch of your foot and the ball of your foot. You don't want to be completely on the balls and you don't want to be completely in the arch. You want a nice comfortable position about where your foot is at its widest. That position allows us to have a little bit of extra ankle motion, gives us a really solid platform on the foot pegs, and it helps us when we need to squeeze the bike better. Having our feet in that position also stops us accidentally bumping the controls. Next up on the list of things you need to sort to get great riding position is our hands. Now, hand position is very different to what a typical road riding position would be, and it's key to allowing you to let the handlebars move. Our hand position on the handlebars is with our hands rested on top of the bar and turned out slightly. It's very different to that typical road position where you have your hands just slapped against the handlebars, the backs of your hands are almost facing you and we're super relaxed and kind of not doing anything. That off-road position is much more on top, much more positive, and it helps bring your elbows out. Now, the reason you want your elbows out is it lets the handlebars turn underneath you, but it's also an incredibly strong position. It means if something catches the front wheel or we need to dominate the bike for a second, we're in a really braced, strong position rather than a tucked, uncomfortable position. Then once you've got that foot position dialed and your hands are in a great position, you'll generally find that the rest of your body isn't too bad. The next parts we're looking for are really to start with straight legs. Now, when we ride off-road, our legs aren't permanently straight all the time. They bob and weave, and we move with the bike, we move against the bike, we do lots of things that involve our body moving. But if you start from an awkward position, you start on your toes and with your knees a little bit bent, the whole process means you're really unbalanced. Whereas when we start with nice straight legs, exactly as you'd normally stand up, you're very balanced, and it means you can change your body position much easier. And then the final part of great off-road riding standing up position is our body and our head and our hips relative to the bike. So the first part of this is you want your head position nice and far forwards most of the time. What you're looking for with that is to put weight on the front wheel, and if you can weight the front wheel, you get the front wheel to stick. The more the front wheel sticks, the easier it is to turn. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then you're looking to bend at the hips, not the knees, to move yourself. The taller you are, the lower you'll want to come in the bike. The lower you come, the more balanced you are, and also the lower your center of gravity, so it's easier to maintain your balance, and it means you have less dramatic effect over your weighting of your bike. Now, the last thing that's really worth understanding with great standing position is that the standing position varies depending on terrain and type of riding and speed of riding massively. And that's it. There isn't much more to say on basic standing position. if you get that set so that your body is good, your feet are good, your hands are good, and everything in between looks like we look, you'll find that the whole process of riding will get much easier, much quicker, and you'll be able to advance beyond where you would otherwise. If you've enjoyed this video, we put a video out at least every Monday on riding tips. We've got lots of other exciting things we do as well, bike reviews, films. If you haven't seen those, head over to our YouTube channel and check them out. If you did like this video, throw a comment down below, ask your questions if you've got any, hit that like button, subscribe to us, go check out our online magazine. It's called break-magazine.com. And otherwise, guys, remember, life's better when you're riding.